What is up? What is going on? And welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Mr. Rob Armstrong. Jumping right into this, right? What are we talking about? We are talking about Cervelo bikes, and we are talking about three different bikes. We are talking about the R5, the Caledonia, and the Cervelo S5. And that's a crazy, I'm not gonna say it's a crazy mix, but there's a reason why we are talking about those three bikes, right? But quick, admin notes. We are on the way to 7,000 subscribers. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. All the likes, all the comments, all the shares, everything. If you are liking the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. All right, now jumping back on topic. Oh, wait, one more thing. I was talking about those Lambden Tuning X-Wing bars. If you haven't seen the video dropped. Go back and check it out. It goes into depth, show you some more about the bars. Check out the bars. All right, jumping into the Cervelo conversation, right? So me and Dad are talking about bikes. For some reason, Dad is on the Cervelo train, right? He wants a Cervelo bike. And he was in between these three bikes. And like I said, it's the R5, the S5, and the Caledonia. Now, one of the things that me and Dad talk about as it pertains to bikes is we don't really want some of the same bikes. And for me personally, one of the reasons I have so many bikes, or when people talk to me about bikes, none of my bikes do the same thing. Every bike is a little bit different, or they kind of do one thing better than the other, and that's what specifically makes me like that bike. But if I had two bikes that kind of did the same thing, I'd probably get rid of one of them because I don't really want a bunch of the same type of bike or the same riding style, if that makes sense, right? So I'm telling Dad, I'm like, you should probably get something that's different from what you already got. And he agrees too. So of those three bikes, the one that's least likely to occur is the Cervelo S5. And the reason why is because the S5 is pretty aggressive, man. And I have an S5. And I told Dad, I was like, I would hate for you to get the Cervelo S5. You set it up and then it's like you don't get along with the bike fit. Because for anybody that's been cycling more than a day, bike fit is everything, bro. You can have a bad fit on a bike and it just makes you not like the bike. It's not going to ride how you want it and all that other stuff, right? And he agrees with that. But then also another reason why I kind of was telling him I probably wouldn't get the S5, because Dad has a Trek Madone. Now, hear me when I tell you this, right? Dad has a Gen 6 Trek Madone. I have a Gen 6 Trek Madone. I also have a Cervelo S5. When it comes to the Cervelo S5 versus the Trek Madone, the Madone crushes the S5. Listen, I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I'll tell you what I know, right? I love my S5. It's super stiff. It's a dope-ass bike. It's badass. But as far as riding, speed, comfort, efficiency, everything, the Trek Madone just crushes it, right? And like I said, Dad has a Trek Madone Gen 6, and he loves that bike. And he's like, yo, it's a beast. I was like, I'm trying to told you, right? I'm trying to told you. So we are off the Cervelo S5 train, right? So Dad is like going, full gas on the Cervelo R5. So I was like, what is it about the R5 that makes you want it so much, right? And he's like, I don't know, kind of like the lightweight climbing bike thing. And I was like, I kind of feel you on that, because if you've never ridden like a lightweight bike, and I say like either low 15 pounds or sub 15, it's just a different experience. Is it going to make you that much faster and all that? Of course not. You got to have the legs and the engine and all that to push the bike. But just for pure riding experience and feel, dude, there's nothing like a lightweight bike, man. Because my Factor Austro VAM is like sub 15, right? It's like 6.7 kgs, right? It's like right under the UCI limit. And it's a beast, man. And whenever I ride that bike, I'm like, damn, this is a light bike, right? So I personally don't know anybody that has a Cervelo R5. Usually everybody I know, they either ride in the Caledonia, the S5, or the Soloist. Those are the bikes that I always see people riding when they have the Cervelo, right? So I guess to the audience, if you own a Cervelo R5, drop in the comments, what do you like about this bike, or do you like it, or would you recommend it? Please let me know this information so I can pass it along to Dad, right? So now, talking more to Dad about the Cervelo R5, okay, I'm like, okay, let's say you get the R5. What's the configuration? Like, what you thinking? Like the bar and stem, the wheels, everything. Right off, he says, I want the reserve wheels. I said, okay, you want the reserve wheels? What's the depth that you want? And he was like, kind of like a mid-depth. And I want to say, I think Cervelo I think Reserve makes like a 40-44 or 40-45 or something like that. And he kind of wants around that mark. Definitely not like the 50s and up. Nothing that large, because we're in the lightweight climbing bike territory. So I told Dad, I was like, if it was up to me and I was getting the R5 and I was getting it specifically for a lightweight climbing bike, I would not get the Reserve wheels. Now, I know I got a bunch of buddies that have Reserve wheels and they love them. If you are like wide tire, tubeless gang, then the Reserves are for you. Because that 25 internal width, that's crazy, man. Rolling like some 32 tubeless, that is legit. But if you want lightweight, I wouldn't recommend the Reserves, because the Reserves, they're just not lightweight. And then there's just so many options up there, right? So I was telling him, I was like, I would probably go with something different. And the Reserves are kind of pricey depending on, what configuration you got, right? Because even like those wheels I've been talking about like a couple times now is those yo-yo wheels, right? Look, I got them. The yo-yo, these are the 60 depth, right? 60 deep, true tubeless, no rim tape, no nothing. These are sub 1,400 grams, bro. And they're $1,000. You can't beat that. And like I said, that's a 60. So I'm telling Dad, let's say you got those in like, let's say you got a mixed step, like a 40, 45, or you just went 40s. You might be close to like sub 1,300 grams, Now, they don't have a 25 internal width, but they got a 23 internal width. And since they are true tubeless and they don't require rim tape, you saving a couple grams there too. That would be, in my opinion, that'd be better for a lightweight climbing bike, right? And jumping back to the R5 audience, if you have an R5, let me know how you like it. But also, how do you have it configured? Do you have it with the Reserve wheels? Do you have a different set of wheels on there? And also, what is your bar setup, right? Are you running a one-piece bar and stem? Are you running some type of, Cervelo got their own stem with the kind of proprietary computer mount on there, kind of something similar to the 3T joint. But let me know how it's set up, because like I said, I want to get this information and then give it to Dad. And also, when I was telling him, I was like, what kind of group set would you run? And Dad is he's a SRAM guy, right? And he's like, I'm gonna put some SRAM on there. So I was like, okay, you could probably save some weight running the SRAM, but you could definitely save a lot of weight if you don't run the Reserves. But if you run the Reserves, you got to go wide tire gang, man. You got to be like, I want to say like 32s and up. That's what I would say, right? Now, talking about the other bike, the third bike, the Caledonia. Listen, those of you that are riding the Caledonia is a dope bike, man. Specifically the Caledonia 5, right? My homegirl was getting into cycling, and she wanted a bike. We went down to my local bike shop, and they are a Cervelo dealer. We're about the same height, so we ride the same size, right? So she goes out and gets this Caledonia, and I was like test riding it, and then she crashed it one time, and I had to, do some fixing up and make sure it was mechanically sound and ride it. Every time I rode that bike, I'm like, damn, this bike rides really, really good. Now, there's this dude on YouTube. I haven't seen much of his content in a while, but I was watching him before. He did a whole long video talking about his Caledonia, how he has it set up, and he's got the wide tire gang on there. It's slammed, and he does a really good job of giving you honest feedback about this bike. He's not sponsored. Nobody gave him anything. Paid it all with his own money. I'm going to throw the video up here so you can check him out. But check out that video. If you have any interest in the Caledonia 5, that's the video you need to watch, because he has it set up right? So I told Dad, the Caledonia is definitely a bike that you don't have. It's a completely different style, but then also be mindful of the type of bike that you're getting. That's not like a fast group ride type of bike. But also, if you want something that's got like a more relaxed geometry, you want to do some big endurance, or you want to get into some light gravel, I think the Caledonia 5 might be for you, man. Because I'm not going to lie, after my homegirl got the bike and I rode it a couple times, I've been low-key thinking about the Caledonia 5. If I found a frame for the right price, I would get one and I would build it up. And like I said, specifically, I like the Caledonia 5. The regular Caledonia, the difference is it's kind of made for external cables, because the one my homegirl had was that one. And when I had to reconfigure some stuff, it's like the way all the wires come and the hydraulic hoses, it comes around the frame and then it goes through the down tube, through the middle of it, runs under the bottom bracket and like, you know, the cables and pulling. It's a pain, man. If you got the Caledonia 5, that one has the integrated headset so you can run all the wires inside. Way cleaner setup, in my opinion. If you're going to get one, get the Caledonia 5. You might pay a couple more dollars, but I think it's just a cleaner setup, easier to work with, easier to manage, right? So that's kind of where we're at with the Cervelo talk. So let me know, you R5 guys, what are you thinking about the bike? What's the configuration? And also, for you guys that aren't riding it, if you had to pick a Cervelo, the S5, the R5, or the Caledonia, which one would you pick and why? Now, before I jump up off here, I got something else for you, right? I got a question for the audience, another one. Goodyear Eagle F1, tubeless, who is running these tires? I need information. Is it a good tire, right? I was running the Goodyears in clinchers, and I'm still running them. I got them on my time trial bike, and I'm running them in 25s, right? Because it's a TT thing, right? And then before, when I had my rim brake Madone 7, I was running the Goodyears in size 28. But I haven't run the Goodyears in tubeless form. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because look, I'm going to throw this up on the screen so you can see it. I'm going to make sure I can pull it up real quick so I can see. Yo, check me out, bro. This is hella dope, right? This is dope. If Goodyear comes out with this in these colorways, I ain't gonna lie, man, I'm gonna have to get me a set, man. I'm gonna have to get me a set. Like the variations of the kind of coffee color and then the light tan, that's dope, but that's not what's interests me. It's these pink and purple joints. They are dope, man. They are dope. If I had to get one, I would get the purple ones, man. And you know what I'd put them on? I'd put them on my Specialized LA Sprint because it would look crazy on that bike, especially with, I got it right here, with my purple anodized rotors. If you don't know about Hope, you got to get these rotors, man. These purple anodized joints, ooh, that with that bike and all them colors and them Goodyear Eagle F1s, yo, that would be, that would be crazy, man. So if you are running these Goodyear Eagle F1s tubeless, please let me know about them because I just want to know how you like them. Is it a dope tire? Because I really want to try them out. I might buy them anyway just to try them because I'm into trying different stuff. But definitely if those special colorways come out, yo, I'm getting them purple tires and they are going on the bike, man. Let me check real quick. That's all I got, man. This is your boy, Mr. Rob Armstrong, and we'll catch you on the next one. Now.